Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Play Football Manager 2014, and as you can see, we're still with Brighton. Honestly, I would come into most videos now expecting a new club. I know that sounds a bit mad, but that's how I am starting to play the game. And as you can see, might as well just spoil it now, we got promoted by the absolute skin of our teeth through the playoffs. Blackpool and Hull also qualifying. Aston Villa, Sheffield Wednesday and Nottingham Forest were the teams to fail in the playoffs. Well, as you can see, we actually ended on 71 points, and so did Ipswich, Leeds, and Bournemouth. So that's 6th and 9th, and I'll show you in detail here. That it was literally goal difference. I mean, admittedly, our goal difference was substantially better than the rest. It's not as if we squeezed in by a goal or two. We're 3 times their goal difference there. For Leeds and Ipswich at least. Sunderland had a much better goal difference, but yeah, as you can see, we deserved to be in this group, I suppose you would say, by just sheer goal difference. We probably conceded, I think we conceded maybe one too many goals. So we did score, we're into the 70s there with the goals for maybe 10 or so too many goals I'd like, maybe in the Championship. 40 goals is about respectable, I'd say. That's what you want to be conceding, about 40 goals. I don't know if this is an exceptional season where everyone just suddenly banging in goals left, right and centre. If you're wondering, relegation down here, this is Bolton, Palace and Millwall's turn to go down. And we'll show you as well, just very briefly, the Premier League. Manchester United won with, in fact, I'll show you the managers. Let's do that and how everyone's looking at the minute. Diego Simeone is the Manchester United manager. As you can see, they've slid away a bit, but they've always been there or thereabout. It's not as if they've fallen down the table. Liverpool manager is Vincenzo Montella. He's very good. Very amusingly, Jose Manuel Reina, Pepe Reina, is the captain. So he actually came back. I don't know what's up with Mignolet. Tottenham in third. Their manager is Roberto Mancini. I actually haven't looked at these myself, so this should be quite amusing. Owen Carr, yes. If you've seen my post on Twitter, link in the description, you'll know that I posted a link the other day where it said Manager of the Year is Arsenal's Owen Coyle. And I said my game is broken, but the thing that really made it even funnier was in second place, Nigel Clough with Derby. No, now you're wondering, it's like, hang on, Nigel Clough, didn't he get sacked? Yes, he did get sacked, and he is no longer, if you start the game up, the Derby manager. So what's happened is, in fact, I'll just go to Derby, I'll just show you now. There he is. He actually got sacked in real life, but he's managed to come back. I know that is just... See, look, it's Steve McLaren. So I don't get that one at all. Maybe he's favoured club or something, I don't know. The City manager is Jurgen Klopp. Chelsea manager is still Mourinho. They have Igor Martinez. That's a good one, isn't it? Stoke in 7th. Mark Hughes is still there, which is really amusing considering people were touting him as the first person to be sacked. Southampton a good 8th. There's Edgar Davids. They've also got Salman Rondon, who's one of those big Football Manager players. He's always one that's somehow good. I'm not saying he isn't good, by the way. He's perhaps a bit better than what he is in real life on this. Cardiff is Mick McCarthy. Swansea, Paul Lambert, who's done a good job with them. Everton, what the heck have I clicked on there? So I must have pressed something. Everton is David Moyes. Fuck. The Wigan manager is Brendan Rodgers. Oh my god. It's weird, Brendan Rodgers on this. He's not very good, but the game appears to rate him somehow. Roberto Martinez is now at Newcastle, so there's a lot of moving around, switching. The Norwich manager is Ronald Koeman. Manager I greatly like. I think it was a great player and also a pretty decent manager as well. Gianfranco Zola is still at Watford after guiding them to the Premier League and relative safety, I guess. Dave Jones, who used to manage Cardiff, I think, and he's been in the Premier League before, I know that. Anyway, teams to be sent down, so we're not going to be playing these next season. Reading, still with Nigel Adkins. Fulham, Dougie Freedman, and West Brom, Paolo Di Canio. Oh wow, that's mad. And might as well show you as well. Blackpool, Tony Pule. Oh dear. Tony Pule's at Blackpool and Roberto Di Matteo at Hull. So there is your managers, and they're all the relevant ones. So I'll show you, well, I've already shown you all the transfers. I'll very, very quickly just go over just one or two. I don't think there's been any more. I've let a few more players go on loan and things. In fact, I don't think anything's changed at all since the last video. So you can get an idea there. If you want to have a very in-depth look, you can pause the video here and just recognise a few names. There are a few regens here, like Vido, for example, but they are all mostly still real players. I just want to point out I did not sign any of the summer players, nor did I sell the summer players. I came in, of course, in October, November or something. So please ignore all this sort of stuff here. You know, I would not have sold Jake Foster-Caskey. I would not have sold Adam Reach, who is apparently a decent player on this. He has 6 appearances for England. I actually have been asked several times by the media saying, you know, what do you think of Adam Reach's call up to England? And I'm like, the hell's Adam Reach? You know, so yeah, he's a weird one. Fixtures, let's go back. So I think the last game we had was the Preston game. Oh, anyway, yeah. Moving on to Leicester now. We had a bit of a shocker at the start of February. Apparently, I've heard one or two things now. At the time of recording this, it's the just approaching the middle of November. I thought there was something about my signings in defence, but apparently, I can't remember if it's fullbacks or wingbacks, but one of them roles is apparently glitched at the minute. If you're like me and finding that your left back and your right backs are just constantly having bad games, and I don't mean just, you know, the odd bad game where they're having a 5.8 or something. I mean they're having 5.2s, 4.8s, 4.5s every game. You know, it's like in every 20 games they might have like a 6.9 rating. Don't panic. Apparently there's a glitch going around, or there's like a problem with left backs or something. That's what I've been told. I don't know how right or wrong I am there. I was in Alex's stream the other day, Istanbul NL stream, and he said that I think it was wing backs that are glitched, so that's why. And you'll also see this in future videos. My left backs and right backs, I guess, have all had just every game will be awful, just flat out awful. That's why, you know, you look at Matt Tootle. Okay, he's a bad example. He's just flat out crap. He was one of the worst players I've ever had, actually. Matt Tootle, he's so unbelievably bad. Anyway, we lost to Leicester, and then we also lost to Birmingham. Samir Nasri having a bit of a bad game. However, Richie Delat did have a good game, but as you can see again, left back Margarita 6.3. Sheffield United drew 0-0. Probably, well, I don't think that was too bad considering where they were actually near the top at some point, but they fell away. The two Sheffield clubs actually look like they might meet each other for a while. Ruben Rashina missing a penalty. Really should have won that one, to be honest. Margarita, again, as you can see, having a poor game again. Then we played Liverpool in the FA Cup, which was really amusing. First time I think I've played Liverpool, in fact. As you can see, again, let's have a look. In fact, this was at the Amex. I did have to rotate the team slightly here, and I'll show you these goals. Incidentally, here's Liverpool's team in 4. They've got Schneiderlin, Musa, still got Sturridge, Ward-Prowse, obviously one of the kids on this game. He looks like a great talent, not only on this, but in real life as well. I'll show you the goals real quick. Admittedly, it was an own goal, and we got absolutely dominated as ever. It sounds a lot like my Save Your Comment series a bit, this, doesn't it? But yeah, as I say, we got dominated. We've also got Jordan Rhodes, who is prolific on this. James Ward-Prowse appearing to be the new Gerrard, which is something I've not seen Liverpool really do. I mean, half a goal, good grief. You know, Liverpool and previous FMs have always never really replaced Gerrard. I mean, or, you know, if they have replaced him, he's always come like 10, 15 years later down the line, not instantly, you know, like to replace Gerrard, step into his shoe, so to speak. No idea what happened there. Got a bit of luck, I'll be honest. A bit of FM cheese in reverse, I suppose. Nice finish, though, to be fair to. And I shouldn't really be laughing, should I? But again, defenders, always one player having a bad game, letting us down. And then we finally did get back on track with a 3-1 victory over Millwall. 2 goals for Llorente and Ruben Rashina, continuing his goal scoring. Well, it's not really form as such, but his adding to his good tally. A great game, 3-3 versus Leeds. And again, you can just get an idea for the ratings. You know, I don't really need to point it out anymore now. You can get an idea. Just look at them every time. You'll notice a pattern. But Nasri with 2, and Rashina, before he got injured, did also score a goal again. And next game was the replay against Liverpool, which we actually won. Llorente missing a penalty. Again, I've mentioned before, but the ratings do appear to be quite harsh. Josh Vela with the goal. And, well, the defence having a good game this time, I suppose. But, you know, it's an Anfield. I don't know, maybe they rise to the occasion. That I've never seen a team win with as little possession as that. I have no idea how we did it, but we did. I can't explain this game. We still had 6 shots on target. It was... I think I may have got the counter-attacking right here. We got a quick corner. Nice persistence from Vela. And, you know, it was a set piece in the end. I do have him play his training attacking set pieces. That is one thing I do like to... not to mention, if the board agree with the philosophy of scoring goals from set pieces, it's a fairly good one to do. If as I say, if they agree with it, if they disagree with it, don't do it. But it's fairly easy. You just make sure that, you know, the training attacking set pieces, and within, you know, a good amount of time, they should grab a fair few goals from set pieces. Unfortunately, couldn't get any further than the 6th round. We did lose to Bournemouth. This was, you know, literally like 3 days later, so the team was quite tired. But yeah, this is sort of our story of the season. We may have even been able to catch Hull possibly if we were a bit more consistent. Things like, you know, drawing with Sheffield United, probably could have beat Birmingham, probably should have beat Preston as well, drawing with Leeds, you know, things like that. Story of our season really, but I don't know whether you could put it down to the glitchy defenders or something or what. I mean, I know people like to go, oh, the defenders are glitched, the left backs are broken, this, that, or the other. Defenders just stand there. Look, I do know where people come from in that, but I don't want to blame the game. But there are times where, and I'm sure we've all been in a situation where you just think, well, what else is it? My tactics, I can only do so much. So I don't know. We also got a tonking off Hull. Michael Hector, Margarita again. Look, this guy looks okay. I mean, he's not great, but we're at the Championship. Not every, you know, attribute needs to be a 20. He looks okay, that's all I can say. But we got a bit of a tonking there. And a 0-0 against Nottingham Forest, which wasn't too bad considering where they were. Richie Delat, again, he's been like the standout player for us. He's really good. I really always liked Richie Delat. I liked him at Norwich. I'm surprised Man United didn't keep hold of him. I think he's a decent enough player. But again, there's always one player letting the side down who has a bad rating. I'm weird because I'd say pay no attention to ratings, but they're still good for at a glance things. That's why I don't think you should also pay attention to things like the scout ratings. They're just at a glance ideas, you know, unless it's like a 5-star potential. Always look at the attributes and things like that. See how many, let's just click on like Nasri, you know, see how many dark greens there are. I say, you know, and obviously you got to look for what he's good in certain areas, you know. So if he's a defender, what's his jumping like? What's his strength like? What's he like positioning? You know, Nasri, like, that wouldn't be good for Nasri since, you know, positioning's not great, but he's got good pace. He's a winger for some reason. He's not playing winger there. But, you know, it's good agility, good pace. Well, not pace, but natural fitness is good. First touch, free kick, you know, so he's got good attributes there. We beat Ipswich 3-1. Rashina with 2 and Vela scoring again. This is the reason Tootle and so on plays was because this guy, he's actually been quite good, really consistent for me. Well, ignore that. See what I mean? No, again, left backs. He was really good for the first half of the season, and then if I go to injuries here, as you can see, he torn his calf muscle and was out for 4 months, so I had no choice but to bring in Matt Tootle, who was appalling. But as soon as he comes back into the team, he has a great game, and that set us in good stead then for the rest of the season as we moved on and beat Middlesbrough 4-0. Rashina, Llorente, Sanchez and Larison with the goal. Watch out for him now. He starts really moving into gear. He needed a bit of time because he did look quite ineffective for most of the season, but all of a sudden, that was the moment, you know. 2-0 against Peterborough. Rashina grabbing 2. There's that Vido, who is one of the worst signings I've ever made. His finishing's 15. You know, long shots 18. You'd think he'd be decent, but he's just totally ineffective. He's like him and Larison appear to have swapped or something. Next game was 0-0 against Burnley, unfortunately. Rashina having an off day, or whatever you want to call it. Again, George Margarita, poor display from him. 3-2 though against Blackpool. We did get a bit of revenge. I'll show you these goals. Novak scoring, or people. Tom Eaves, again, he is a right bastard on this. He's grabbed a few goals against me. Nasri with the first goal, also man of the match. No one having a particularly bad game here for once. But here are the goals. It was at the Amex. I think I told them to get revenge. And that is exactly what they did. It wasn't quite, 93rd minute when Etta snatched the victory as they did at Bloomfield Road earlier in the season. But Anderson. He's been really good, Anderson, as well. I know that makes him look really shit, but he's actually been really good. I mean, probably the best goalkeeper I've ever had in the Championship. Even more so than Kuchek and David Marshall, back when I was Cardiff on FM 11 and 12, I think. But there's Hassan again at left back, pounding forward there, and Josh Vela is able to jump on the goal, to jump on that shot there and score. So, looking really good, this team overall. I think there's just been a few extra additions, and what a finish that is from Novak. I mean, first ever goal for Brighton, and what a way to do it. No one wants to see Blackpool's last goal there. Yeah, lovely goal. A great one to win. I brought him on just to say, let's see what you can do here. We unfortunately lost 2-1 to Villa. Nasri with a goal, but Richie Delat having a bad game this time. Then we drew 1-1 with Sheffield Wednesday. Ragnar Lauritsen again scoring another goal. So again, as I say, he started to get into a bit of form. Delat not doing particularly well again. Tuchel coming in, I think he saw as well on Hassan's injuries earlier. He did get a slight one, which kept him out a little bit longer, which is frustrating, which is why he stopped playing again. Though we did beat Huddersfield 3-0, I was expecting a much tighter game here, to be honest. Sanchez could have had a hat-trick, unfortunately he missed his penalty, was still able to get a 8.2 rating. Dele Ali, here's a player who's going to come in now and really shine for the last, I guess, quarter of the season or so. Looks a bit like Pharrell if he was a bit spotty. He's really good, actually. He's very consistent, you'll find. Let's say, I bet you his ratings on. That's actually pretty decent. I know the 6.7s, ignore them. That's not necessarily a bad game, though, 6.7. That's just a mediocre game. Well, I like him. Good player, this Ali. 1-1 versus Palace, so unfortunately we couldn't beat the old rivals. Although Rashina did get us the goal. In fact, I will show you these two goals. Matt Ritchie did equalise for Palace, but I guess the away point wasn't the end of the world. And they did have plenty of shots. Almost double us, actually. But as you can see again, just goal kicks and so on. Players don't go for them. I mean, admittedly, we got out of jail there. But see again, I mean, okay, yes, it leads to a goal. But I'm still not a fan of these goal kicks where they just lump it up front and your players don't ever find the ability to head them on. But nice finish from Rashina. And look again, admittedly this one's a bit easier because Mavrius does actually win the header. I still like to blame and say, right, these goals came from a goal kick. I mean, admittedly, no matter how far along the line it was. Margarita, unlucky to be honest, because it was a good tackle, but eventually it found his way and deflected to Matt Ritchie. So the amount of incidents that happened in that goal was unbelievable. Another 1-1 draw, this time with Wolves. Josh Vela with the goal. Hassan having a bad game. So maybe I should have played Matt Tuchel. And that was enough in the end. That draw was enough to get us into the playoffs. Adam Barton did equalise for Wolves in the last minute, which did make things quite tense, but thankfully Ipswich, they needed to score. If Ipswich had scored there in the last minute, they would have gone through, but thankfully they didn't. Then we played Aston Villa and really moved into gear here with 2-0, Llorente and Vela with the goals, and I'd say we definitely deserved to win this. It was very close, as you can see. Yeah, they maybe had a few more shots, but to be honest, you could have shots from 40 yards all game. And it may look like you've had more. Nice finish from Llorente. Ali involved. He came in. I'm surprised he didn't complain more that I wasn't giving him first team football, actually. Because, they've certainly toned that down, which I'm a fan of. Blackburn, the goalkeeper, unlucky. The amount of players who, or the amount of times the player will complain now about not having first team football has certainly been toned down, which is great in my book. I mean, they still do it, but it's within reason now. If a player does approach it, it's like, well, to be fair, I was kind of expecting that, We did lose the second leg, unfortunately, 1-0. but it was enough in the end. We managed to hold out. I did not tell them that. I will admittedly let these ratings go, as we were pretty much uncontained for most of this game. And we just about held out, which is certainly something refreshing compared to the amount of times I've let 2-goal leads slip on this bastard game so far. We then played in the final and we won 4-1. Domination, really. Rashina could have had a hat-trick. Ali involved again. Slight taken off the gloss there. Elliot Bennett, former Norwich player, of course, with the consolation for Forest. Close enough game, but in the end, we got the goals. That's all that matters, really. I really should stop complaining about goal kicks and players not winning it, because they did. And a nice finish there, or at least our players did, from Ali. As I say, big impact. And he will be a regular come the Premier League season. Tootle also played, but Llorente and Rashina here combining. Pinto, a little bit unlucky that the save fell to Rashina, but that's good awareness and good positioning from Rashina, and it managed. I don't know where is he off here? Oh yeah, I remember that. I was like, where's he going? He's in a bit of a rush. Nottingham Forest simply were not at the races here, and we were able to jump onto that. And really, I think I put them not ultra attacking, but we were very attacking, But also good performances from the likes of Ali and Llorente with his consistent quality finishing. Rashina also turning up. There have been times where your big game players simply don't turn up. There's Matt Jarvis, for a game like this, but thankfully they all did. Lovely ball there from Mavrias and Rashina. Or was it Llorente? Yeah, Rashina with the goal, and that was just after. That was in the second half, and bear in mind it was 2-0 going into half time. I thought, here we go again. Are we going to lose a 2-goal lead? It was always going to happen. But there's Bennett, got the consolation last 10 minutes or so. Back in with the shot. That was 3-1, and this was the own goal here. This just finished. Was this the penalty? In fact, might be the penalty miss. We'll find out. I know. Yeah. Don't ask me what he's just done there. Typical defenders, I suppose, with when the ball's on the line. Anyway, that was the last game. Championship promotion. So we're back in the Premier League. First time of asking. Here are the top goal scorers. If I just get the stats up for you. Anderson, as you can see, 49 games overall this season. Ruben Rashina with 19 goals and 13 assists. Not quite Yesil or Ward or Moussa Dembele. That, I believe, is the younger Moussa Dembele, who is currently at Fulham. I love that. Really good player. He's meant to be a good player, him, actually. Josh Vela with, how many miles is that? 529 kilometres covered overall in the season. That's impressive. Anderson with 17 clean sheets. And Delat with 86 key tackles. So, you can see, I like this. This is pretty nice. You can see that I'd say we deserved it. Admittedly, Blackpool dominated the average ratings here, but you could probably say, 88 points, it's fairly impressive total overall. So, that'll do it, I think. There's nothing else to go over. I'll be back then in February with a update on how we're doing in the Premier League. We'll see. I don't know if I'll be able to, recreate what I did on FM13, where, we managed to be relatively stable. Not relatively, very stable in the Premier League. Came up and it was like we were naturally meant to be there. It was like normal. We just blended in straight away. Whereas I don't think it'll happen this time. This team is drastically different. Because the Brighton team I took over on FM13 was full of, probably in about a year or two, fully fledged Premier League players. Likes of Bridcut, Mikhail Smith, Dunk, Kuchak. I can't think of too many more, but you know what I mean. Anyway, if you look at the Brighton team, you can get an idea of how good that team was, and I think they were desperately unlucky to go up, especially Gus Poyet, who I think is a great manager. Anyway, that's going to do it from me, so thanks very much for watching. I will see you then in February. Bye-bye for now.